Hello again, everyone. Edwin Lerner back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about Chiron square or opposition the black moon Lilith in a natal chart. Now, first off, one way these aspects may manifest in a natal chart is that helping and healing others, which is Chiron, may be something you either just lack passion and desire for, which is the black moon Lilith, or you just may be completely or overly obsessed and fixated with. And if you have, let's say, Chiron, for example, is in, let's say it's in Capricorn, you may help and heal others, in matters with their social status and stature in life, matters with business, or, gaining structure and discipline in the life, or even attaining career ambitions. And also, too, another way that these aspects may be expressed in a natal chart is that people that play a provocative role in your life, which is the black moon Lilith, may not be overly beneficial in matters that are connected with depleted self-esteem, which is Chiron. Now, if Chiron is in Taurus, as an example, matters with depleted self-esteem may be tied in with your monetary situation, possessions, resources. It can be issues with persistence or patience or perseverance in one's life, things that require endurance and staying power as some examples. And also, too, you may have difficulty in terms of balancing, activities as far as helping and healing others, which is Chiron, and things that you are passionate about, which is the black moon Lilith. And, one may conflict or clash with the other. Now, let's say if you have, the black moon Lilith, say, is in Aries, as an example, the things that you're passionate about, it may be things that require, leadership prowess and ability. It may be doing welding, or, some cases it may be something involved with sports, or more specifically even combat sports, such as karate, boxing, wrestling. It may be doing something with the military. It may be it may be working with doing projects that involve sharp instruments, such as, cutting or using scissors, as some examples. And the same may apply for matters that are associated with helpers and healers, which is Chiron, and those that figure prominently in your life, which is the black moon Lilith, that one may clash or conflict with the other. Now, let's say if the black moon Lilith is in Sagittarius, as an example, one or more of those people that figure prominently in your life may actually be a Sagittarius sun, moon, or ascendant person, or simply embody the characteristics of the sign. It could be those that are, expansive, exuberant, enthusiastic, jocular, jovial, optimistic, but at the same time may be overly blunt, tactless, self-righteous, and foolhardy as well. Now, also, too, helpers and healers, which is Chiron, may not be advantageous as far as you dealing with the dark side of the black moon Lilith placement. It doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to be detrimental. In some cases, maybe they exacerbate those issues, but they just may simply be away, so to speak, and not be there for you when you need the assistance in dealing, with that dark side of, the black moon Lilith placement. Now, let's say, for example, if the black moon Lilith is in Gemini, now there may be very, mercurial, vacillating, sometimes even very dual type qualities in the individual. It may be, something where, there's just complete lack of persistence, in matters, or, there may be issues connected with that. Maybe there's a tendency to gossip, or even be two-faced. In some cases, there may be extreme, ambivalence or indecisiveness, or, there may be, some issues, with just, I guess you could say, again, like a very, just mercurial, type, very changeable, behavior. And there may be, something, maybe a very strong, mischievous nature as well that's connected with the dark side of the person. Now, also, too, teachers, mentors, spiritual people, and astrologers, which is Chiron, may not be auspicious in as far as you embracing the higher level of the Black Moon Lilith placement. Now, it doesn't mean that they're extremely detrimental. In some cases, maybe they do something that causes more issues with those placements. But in a lot of cases, I would just say that they're just not, they may not be there for you when you're, trying to, embrace, as far as, you trying to embrace the higher level of the placement, whether these people are busy or whatever it might be. Now, if the Black Moon Lilith, say, is an Aquarius, as an example, that higher level of the placement may be tied in with simply making contributions to astrology or astronomy or computers, electronics, being able to innovate, and even, ingratiating, oneself with society, expressing, humanitarianism and altruism in general. Now, also, too, those that play a provocative role in your life, which is the Black Moon Lilith, may not be propitious as far as you dealing with the deepest wound, which is Chiron. Now, let's say if Chiron is in Aries, as an example, that deepest wound may be, associated, it could be with a confrontation that one had. Maybe it could have been a physical or a verbal one, or it may be issues with confronting others or dealing with matters, maybe not being overly aggressive or lack of assertiveness. I have Chiron and Aries in my 12th house, and the deepest wound may just be tied in with, issues, confronting people that were hidden adversaries, people that were not, necessarily my friends, but were just using me for whatever reason, or just simply not taking action in matters connected with one's limitations. Also, too, the expression of compassion, sympathy, and empathy, which is Chiron, may not be favorable in dealing with the void in one's life, which is the Black Moon Lilith. It doesn't mean you don't express compassion, sympathy, or empathy, but for whatever reason, that expression of that may not lead to dealing with, that void that is in a person's life. Now, let's say if the Black Moon Lilith is in Scorpio, as an example, that void in one's life may be tied in with maybe issues with transformation or empowering the self and others. There may be issues with support or things of a sexual related nature, or ability to express resiliency and bounce back from adversity. There may be some void, even in intimate connections or in shared resources scenarios. So now, also, two formidable adversaries, which is the Black Moon Lilith, may exacerbate matters that are connected with emotional and physical related wounds and suffering, which is Chiron. Now, if you have, let's say, Chiron is in the zodiac sign Cancer, as an example, there may be physical related issues connected with the chest, the breast, the ribs, the stomach. The emotional related ones may be tied in with one's home, family life, maybe ancestry, could be the expression of unconditional love, maybe the lack of it. It could also be, too, let's say, if Chiron is retrograde, there may be more of an emphasis on self-healing, and suffering may be more internalized in contrast to Chiron being direct in one's chart. Now, if, let's say, if Chiron is in Leo, as an example, there may be, self-healing that is tied in, with the heart, the upper back or spine as far as physical related matters go. But if there's, as far as on an emotional level, the suffering that may be internalized may be tied in with issues of not being lauded and praised for one's efforts, or not gaining like the notoriety, the attention and recognition that one, deserves, or there may be issues with, going into the spotlight, so to speak. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Lerner saying, stay well.